Welcome to the How to Scale AWS Security Without Hiring More Experts webinar. We'll start in just a moment. We're doing this event live so we can answer your questions. So when you have questions or comments, please ask them in the chat and we'll answer them. Hey, did you know that AWS IAM is too complex for regular teams to adopt best practices? Heck, not even AWS IAM experts can understand what's going on in most production accounts. I know it sounds crazy because we're so used to hearing about implementing least privilege with this one weird policy trick. And while policy tricks can be important, I'm going to share 3 secrets with you today that are going to revolutionize the way you secure data and applications in AWS. I'm Stephen Kensley, and I'm founder of K9 Security and author of Effective IAM for AWS. I've helped cloud teams fix IAM in their AWS accounts and help their organizations scale security out to their delivery teams. Today, I want to share the 6 pillars of a simple security program. So what is simple security? A set of tools and practices you can adopt to simplify AWS security so you can scale it out to all your application teams instead of overloading 1 or 2 security specialists. It's how you integrate security into everyone's job so that it's a regular activity that gets done, just like adding features or improving reliability. So I'm going to share with you 3 secrets about the simple security program and how you can secure AWS and reduce your risks, all without hiring more experts or overloading the ones you have. And I know what you're probably thinking. We've tried integrating security into our delivery process before and we failed. But again, I'm going to show you a great way you can simplify AWS security so you can scale it out across your organization and stop needing so many experts. In the next 30 minutes, my goal is to get you to believe that simplifying IAM is the key to unlocking scalable security. And I'm going to show you my 6 pillars framework that will make it simple for you to achieve that result. Security needs to be self-service, standardized, and repeatable so your whole team can play and win. Because when you enable and motivate everyone to secure, you unload experts and accelerate delivery. Let's walk through what security looks like before and after simplifying it so you can scale. I'm a systems guy, so I always think about security as a process. And every security control is actually a control loop where you implement the control, then check the current state, then adjust as necessary forever. Now, before you simplify security, 1 or maybe a few cloud security specialists handle all security policy development, usually as an interruption. And it takes a couple days to get that policy right, or maybe you just give up so you can ship. And unfortunately, you often never check that they're working. This is what most people tell us they're doing. Now let's look at what happens when you simplify security. Your app teams, your app engineers, review and provision controls with simple self-service processes. So they're up here as the process controller deciding who should have access to data. And if privileges are excessive or they need to add a feature, and so they need more permissions, or the application needs more permissions. And they spend a few hours figuring out what that should be and saying like, oh, this thing should be able to read data or write data or what have you. They declare that with infrastructure code and they come around. And there's something that measures and checks and says, this is what the access actually is. And then they, as a process controller, can check it. And now an app can protect data with a few hours of work at most, and without depending on a single cloud security specialist. This also means security specialists are no longer overloaded with urgent requests. Because a cloud security guild handles any outstanding questions on how to use productized security components, dashboards, and processes. They can also gather feedback and improve the security program. Ultimately, app engineers are empowered to deliver securely and on time because now this control loop takes less than a day rather than more than a week to go around. So here's some questions for you. Would you like for an app team to be able to review and manage access review for their own data stores? Would the scalable approach reduce the load and need for senior DevOps and site reliability engineers in your organization? Now, I hear you. There are a lot of pieces that have to work to make your security engineering scale. Would you like to know how to scale security in practice? Here's the framework for the simple security program that scales. This framework is built on the proven change framework for creating change described in the best-selling book Influencer, The New Science of Leading Change. We're going to give people both the ability and motivation to secure their systems. And we're going to do that at 3 levels of scale: personal, individual; social, which is the local and informal team interactions; and structure, department-wide and interdepartmental interactions and processes. You need to cover 4 of the 6 boxes in order for your security change program to succeed. You can do them all, but we'll focus on the 4 that will probably help you succeed quickest. We recommend enabling security across all scales of your organization, then focus your motivation efforts at the personal level. Then you can scale out. Don't worry, soon we'll dive into specific examples of all these influence change sources and see how they work in practice. We've seen customers use this framework to quickly clean up the most serious issues in their AWS accounts, even going so far as to discontinue external security services because they were no longer needed. We've also seen customers embed strong security into their delivery platforms and processes using our simple infrastructure code and help them scale load on security experts with training and guilds. The first secret is that simple scales. The big idea here is that you need to productize and operationalize security the same ways that you do for reliability, with libraries, monitoring, control loops, training, support. This is important because there's no magic bullet. You're never going to make everyone into AWS IAM experts, and that wouldn't even work because experts get IAM wrong frequently. Instead, you need the whole organization to be able to operate at a higher level the vast majority of the time. They can do that with a collection of trusted infrastructure libraries, observability components, and processes that make securing data, reviewing access, and executing the control loop error-free and reliable. When you simplify AWS IAM to something everyone can use and many people can support, you relieve the burden on experts and unblock delivery pipelines. The first and most important element of the simple security program is to increase the ability of individual app and cloud engineers to build more secure systems. Currently, most organizations have at least 10 times as many app engineers as cloud security specialists. Because the app engineer's security requests are custom and one-off, specialists have to handle them one at a time, often interrupting their current work to avoid blocking delivery. We need to flip the script. Cloud security specialists should adopt or build components and reporting that provide simple-to-use security solutions that fit within the organization's reference architectures, so that they protect data from unintended access, scope people and application principals access to least privilege, and review access and converge to what is intended. And boom, now you have 10x more engineers who can do security. Because now app engineers can self-service more than 80% of the use cases. AppEng can practice with these standard components using reference applications in a training environment. And you can train and support AppEng on these standard solutions. And that leads to socializing security. Because now that you've standardized how security is done, you can gather your current security experts and the security curious into a security guild where engineers can ask for help. Build your organization's social ability for security by creating a security guild that develops, supports, and encourages security practices. The guild can congregate in an open group chat channel. Engineers can get help from people with both informal and formal security responsibilities. Guilds are a great way to scale the support load, surface problems with the process, training, and security components easily, and also to identify and document frequently asked questions. Now you have 10x more engineers to support security. Now, for the third change influence, build the ability for your organization to manage security at scale by integrating the security information required to execute your standard access provisioning and review processes into your existing workflow systems. Don't make another pane of glass. Instead, integrate security into your organization's core information management infrastructure and processes, the ones that already exist. This enables engineers and managers to review security information in the tools they're already using. Typically, this means integrating with observability systems like Splunk and Datadog, issue management systems like Jira, delivery pipeline systems like Jenkins and GitHub Actions. Security information needs to be present in the places where engineers and managers do their jobs, or the case can be made that it's not really their job. Every time you force people to look in a special system for security, there's a switching cost, manual data integration costs, and reinforcement that security is different from their other work. Now let's switch gears from ability to motivation and cover the last step on our happy path. Motivate your engineers to do security work by, first, giving them control on autonomy for when they do that work. Once you integrate security into your workflows alongside other day-to-day functional reliability and other work, you make it easy to prioritize and execute security with that other work without special rules. Publish clear guidance about how security work should be prioritized. Realistically, most security work is probably a medium priority. So let teams execute that work according to its natural priority, and then hold them accountable for executing according to defined priorities in ops reviews. Second, you can motivate by running game day exercises so engineers can experience what bad outcomes from poor security feel like in a safe environment for them and for customers. Give engineers a set of actions they can execute to exfiltrate or destroy their application's data in a test environment. Then let them do it. This builds empathy for why adopting a new practices is important and how a little effort using the simplified security tools can provide a lot of protection. The key to getting around the security control loop is that we've enabled the bulk of the organization to run it. No special expertise is required. We've invested in the organization's ability to secure its applications and verify they are secure, just like we might do with reliability or new feature development. And we're also motivating individual engineers to execute the process and brought security into scope of periodic ops reviews from managers, directors, and VPs. Okay. We just walked through the happy path of a simple security program. But you might be thinking, it's a lot to build on your own, and you're right. But I have another secret to share. The second secret is that you can build a simple security program. The main thing to understand here is that you can adopt pre-built solutions and plug them into your program. For example, Canine Security built the reusable components, dashboards, integrations, processes, and training you need. And we applied usability science to make them easy to use. Let's illustrate those solutions through the lens of the continuous delivery pipeline. Let's start with the prototypical continuous delivery pipeline process and see how the simple security program integrates into that pipeline and how Canine can enhance your individual engineers and your organization's abilities. First, application engineers can use the Canine infrastructure code libraries for Terraform or AWS CDK to quickly implement least privilege access to data in S3 or data protected by KMS encryption keys. They do that by declaring who should have access to that data with a simplified access capability model using words like administer resource, read data, and write data. The 6 Canine access capabilities are standard across each AWS service and map to each individual service's API actions and permissions. So right off the bat, app engineers get a simplified, consistent experience to declaring their intended access. Second, Canine analyzes access to AWS APIs and data and reports access capabilities in that same simplified language. This is the same activity that IAM experts struggle to get right. Further, there's no way for humans to keep up with the scale or rate of change in cloud environments. Finally, the Canine katas enable the entire organization to review who has access to APIs and data using simple processes. With this model, you can make app engineering teams responsible for the security of their own data. And you can have other engineering teams and managers implement periodic reviews as part of governance. And this is how you integrate security into the continuous delivery process and scale. Here's some questions. Have you productized something complex for app engineers to use before? Perhaps reliability with easy-to-use auto-scaling and availability monitoring. Does doing that for security make sense too? Okay, let's see how engineers should be able to specify their intended access control. We'll look at just the interface here. So we can see what a usable access control automation interface actually looks like. It will be close to our human readable description. First, we specify who should have access, who's an administrator, who can read configurations, who can read data, who can write data. Then we assign them to a resource like a KMS key. We've lifted up the conversation from the low-level details of the IAM security policy to a language non-experts can understand and review. Now the library turns these inputs into nearly 200 lines of key policy implementing least privilege. These are statements allowing each capability for authorized principals and denying everyone else. You can check out the GitHub repos listed at the links below for details. And this is what we need to get this security policy job done quickly while improving security greatly. We know this works because we have customers who have integrated our libraries into their microservice platform. Now their microservices data is secure by construction, and they can verify that with access reports. Reviewing effective access is nearly impossible for humans to do accurately in production due to the complexity and flexibility of IAM. let alone the scale of most production environments. Well, let's see how easy it is to perform essential access reviews with K9. We'll review access in Excel here because it's most accessible. But remember, you can do this in Splunk, Datadog, or Athena, any system that supports CSV. Okay, first, let's identify IAM administrators with a filter. What I'm showing here is an access report, a sample access report from the K9 dev account. Let's see who is an IAM administrator in this AWS account. A principal that can administer IAM effectively has full control over the account and its resources because it can give itself whatever privileges it doesn't already have. We can see in this account, there are 10 IAM administrators. Let's see who they are. We'll go to the Principals tab, and filter on this principal is IAM admin column to those that are true. And these are the 10 principals in this account that are IAM admins. And when customers analyze their production accounts for the first time, they're always surprised and delighted/terrified to find 3 to 5 unexpected IAM admins. Cleaning those up is the first order of business. And what our customers remark is that access review doesn't get any simpler than that. Next, coming off the thrill of discovering IAM admins, customers want to know what APIs and data their principals can access. You can do that with the principal access summary. Let's see who has access to DynamoDB. Let's focus in on the CI user. The CI user has full control of the DynamoDB APIs. They can use all the DynamoDB APIs. And another thing that we're showing here is that they have full access to this Terraform state lock DynamoDB table, which means this user could delete that database table if they wanted to. You see, K9 can evaluate both general access to AWS APIs and access to specific data sources. This is important because IAM can allow very broad or very narrowly scoped access. K9 handles both broad and least privilege declaration and everything in between. Now, if K9 can report who has access to data, maybe we should start there. After identifying IAM admins, it's a great idea to focus on who has access to your critical data stores. After all, we're concerned with information security, and information is stored in data stores. So a common question is, who can read my critical data? Let's consult the resource access summary to see who has access to the K9 dev account's most important data store, which is a bucket, an S3 bucket called QM dev K9 reports. Okay. Now let's see who can read data. We'll focus on just the principals that can read data. And these are the 6 principles that can read data from that S3 bucket. And these are all expected for us. And I'll point out that while there are a number of principles with the general capability to read all data from S3 buckets in this account, only the ones explicitly allowed by the K9 generated bucket policy have access. So what you're seeing here is verification that access has been closed down by the bucket policy generated by the K9 bucket policy generator. What you've seen here are quick executions of 3 of the K9 security katas. The katas are simple processes your team can follow to operationalize access review. There are 5 katas that help you review core identity security controls to keep your account safe. What you've seen here are quick executions of 3 of the K9 security katas. The katas are simple processes that your team can follow to operationalize access review. There are 5 katas that help you review core identity security controls to keep your account safe and compliant with identity controls of PCI, HIPAA, SOC 2, etc. Each kata is designed and optimized to take only 2 to 3 minutes to complete. The katas are so simple, one customer eliminated their external security service, saving a lot of money in the process. Now, the third secret is that you can scale security culture. The main thing to understand here is that now that you've enabled your organization to do security with simplified and standardized workflows, you can motivate them to apply that knowledge by expecting security to be done in their daily work, providing encouragement, and changing your internal economy to value security. Motivation is key because motivation techniques provide the energy that powers culture change to integrate security into your organization's daily work. We already discussed increasing individuals' personal motivation by giving them clear expectations and control over when they do security work. Now let's quickly touch on 2 more practices to scale security culture. No influence is more powerful and accessible than persuasion from the people we work with. Ridicule and praise from our peers and organizational leaders can do more to assist or hinder change efforts than any other source. Rolled eyes from a team lead can negate the good work of a cloud security team and the CTO's call to action. Praise people's efforts to adopt your improved security processes, sympathize with their struggles, encourage their peers to help. This can be as simple as admitting a component is not working well and capturing that feedback for improvement. Conversely, sanction negative behaviors that affect the program's adoption. Call out non-constructive feedback as toxic to the organization and its customers. This is tough work. So ensure the right people lead with encouragement, coaching, and accountability. Finally, integrate security into your organization's economy of measurements and incentives. Security efforts should pay off, but probably not in special bonuses. Ensure that positive and negative incentives aren't undermining security. First, remove disincentives for integrating security into daily work. After finding a security issue, be careful not to blame or penalize well-intentioned engineers. Use blameless postmortems to uncover opportunities for improvement. Then incentivize sparingly. Reward teams for doing the right thing and operating safely in their daily work. Don't over-justify security work with special bonuses. Treat security improvements as product improvements and recognize that the importance of that work, just like you would for reliability. For example, you can publish the total count of completed reviews and improvements in an organization-wide newsletter. Definitely report security metrics in your organization's ops reviews alongside other key metrics. Above all, hold teams accountable to organization-wide standards for delivering work according to its priority. And hold security process and component providers accountable for providing usable security solutions. Okay, are you ready to give K9 a try to scale security in your organization? Here are customers' typical results. You usually save 2 to 3 senior engineers or avoid hiring them. They save on penetration tests and also find that reviewing this access information is much more effective than a blind walk through the environment. They reduce risk by securing critical principles and data. And they focus on scaling proven processes, not building custom security tools and frameworks. In the near term, this typically saves in the range of $100,000 to $500,000 per year. You can calculate your own ROI at the value of K9 security page linked at the bottom. Okay, the big question is, what is scalable in-house AWS security worth to you? With K9 security team, you're going to be able to operationalize IAM access review with the katas. You're going to scale access monitoring in a way that your whole organization understands. We're going to support you in integrating your K9 security infrastructure code libraries into your delivery processes. And as a bonus, we're going to help you develop your IAM improvement plan with 1 week of expert cloud security advisory. All this comes for the price of $80 per AWS account per month. And you can choose which accounts you want to start with. You don't have to do it all. As a reminder, customer results are typically saving 2 to 3 engineers, scaling with proven processes and tools, and reducing risk for a near-term savings of $100,000 to $500,000. You can purchase this today in the AWS Marketplace. You can also get started today for free. We're happy for you to try K9 on 3 accounts for 30 days for free. Just go to the K9 website at www.k9security.io/try-K9. Sign up and schedule your setup appointment today. We'll help you get going and get your improvement plan scheduled. Thanks for attending this webinar. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to take them now in the chat or via email to hello@k9security.io. Thank you.